We have spent the last several months researching and analyzing information to uncover the conservation market and how young people view and interact with it. We'll get to all that in a bit. In our presentation, these are the key points of research, but each team's plan book has a full report. Let's get started.
We are MOJO Ad. MOJO Ad is a student-staffed, award-winning, full-service agency at the Missouri School of Journalism. We are specialists in all things young, specifically 18 to 24-year-olds, or as we call them, the youth and young adult market. This market is complex and ever-changing. Fortunately, we are the YAYA market. We post, share, and discuss them with them. We see them for who they are because we are them. Now you might be thinking, what describes a YAYA individual? Well, YAYA individuals are in a pivotal life stage. They are students and young professionals who are making their way out into the world for the first time.
They are 31 million strong in the United States and generate an aggregate income of $463 billion, meaning they have a profound effect on the market.
We found the information we're about to share with you from two different surveys. The first was a strictly YAYA individual survey, which had 315 participants, 106 being overall national, 106 from Missouri, and 103 from Nevada. This was both a national and state representative sample based on the US Census data for 18 to 24-year-olds. The second was an all-age national survey and had 467 respondents. Participants of this survey were dispersed throughout the 50 states and ranged in age from 18 to above 85. The purpose was to understand the knowledge the general US population had about AFWA and the overall outdoor industry.
Now, we know that's a lot to take in, so we have a source key for the presentation. In the dark green is the National YAYA Survey, and orange is the National All Age Survey. In dark gray is the 2020 State of the YAYA Survey, and light gray are various secondary sources that we'll specify as we go. And don't worry, we'll do our best to remind you of all the sources throughout anyway. At the beginning of the year, you asked us to find out how to make YAYA consumers aware of the importance of caring about conservation efforts in wildlife. You asked us to figure out how to convince them using relevant and interesting content that makes them want to care. So let's start by looking at the industry.
We could call the outdoor industry a force. Members of the industry work together to be catalysts for positive and meaningful change. Their goals are set in recreation, trade policy, sustainable business innovation, and to put it simply, getting more people to go outside.
This industry is an economic powerhouse too, contributing $427 billion of the total US gross domestic product in 2017. It's larger than both agriculture and mining industries combined. In the same year, the industry also outpaced the growth of the overall US economy and was responsible for employing some 4.5 million people. It seems like the outdoor industry is booming. So why is engagement in national and state parks, as well as conservation areas, decreasing?
318 million people visited the national parks in 2018 to help preserve natural and historical wonders with international significance. Let's take a look at state parks. State parks often include more social activities than conservation areas do. State parks preserve and highlight natural landscapes and cultural landmarks. They provide outstanding recreational opportunities for visitors. Despite of this, state parks saw a 12% decrease in attendance in Missouri, from 21.1 million to 18.5 million between 2018 to 2019. Nevada, on the other hand, saw a slight increase in state park visits, from earning 4.2 million in park user fees in 2016 to 4.3 million in 2017. Conservation areas conserve natural diversity and provide conservation-related recreation and educational opportunities in their local communities. But there's no entry fee for the Missouri and Nevada spaces, meaning there's no way to track attendance or usage.
Nearly 40% of YAYA individuals have yet to participate in state conservation courses. It's more than just inaction. When asked which courses they would be interested in, 17% said they had no interest in the courses being currently offered. To change that narrative, you can benefit from introducing these educational courses in a way that feels relevant to them. Based on our data, here's what the YAYA market is interested in. 49% are interested in wildlife education, 42% in archery, and 33% in boating.
So what's possible? The youth and young adult market finds other ways to engage in the outdoor space with brands. In 2016, REI challenged individuals with their Opt Outside campaign to get outside and enjoy nature instead of shopping on Black Friday. These activities encouraged consumers to live more sustainably, get outdoors, and unplug. As a result of their Opt to Act plan, brand awareness rose 14%, along with a 9% lift in consideration when consumers thought about where to shop, and a 7% increase in purchase intent. Additionally, REI's retail locations saw an increase of 3.6% in store traffic. This shows that there is an appetite for content and messaging similar to this and can be leveraged to bring in more YAYA consumers.
Consumers' admirations for brand with social missions is especially pertinent in the outdoor market, and this admiration translates to sales. 50% of YAYA individuals have purchased items from the North Face, a company that is well known for their mission to protect the outdoors. Other brands at the top of YAYA individuals' list include Bass Pro Shop and Columbia at 43%. When it comes to barriers keeping the YAYA demographic from visiting a conservation area, there are challenges. AFWA is faced with non-preventable barriers like weather, time, and insects. Some YAYA individuals admit to not having enough time to get outside, but there are other measures AFWA could take to get more of the demographics to these areas. Cost, safety, and education about distance to a conservation area are the barriers in the AFWA's control. In Nevada, 29% of population listed safety concerns as one of their top 4 barriers. Nevada also had 41% saying distance and transportation was a barrier to spending time outdoors.
As previously mentioned, time is a major barrier for these individuals. In fact, it's the largest non-preventable barrier keeping the YAYA market from going to conservation areas. Time is a challenge that is bigger than the YAYA market as well. We see this barrier to entry across all age groups, and now technology is universal. With technology being readily available at your fingertips, people of all ages are willing to spend their time and money on streaming services. 87% of people subscribe to one streaming service, and beyond that, nearly 93% of people are willing to increase their streaming services to spend time with technology. So what's so attractive and fulfilling about spending time watching streaming services and not getting outside? The YAYA market is at a fork in the road, and they see technology and getting outside as mutually exclusive.
When we asked what they prefer to do in their free time, 3 out of 9 options involve technology. Within the top 5 activities we listed, they're between activities that involve more motivation to get outside and interact with others compared to activities that don't require active participation or engagement at all. With time being one of the major barriers for YAYA individuals, they have to decide what they want to participate in during their free time. Spending time on technology and getting outside are not mutually exclusive because you can do both in nature. From our national YAYA survey, 16% preferred to go outside with friends and family, and 16% said they listen to music outside. So there is an opportunity to stay digitally connected while spending time with friends and family outdoors.
So how do YAYA individuals fit into all of this? Well, they comprise a huge untapped market that is already invested in conservation. 98% of the YAYA demographic said that they care about environmental conservation. However, these caring individuals are either currently unaware of the services AFWA members offer or unsure how relevant those services are to their daily lives. A slim majority of YAYA individuals say that they are aware about both the AFWA and their state's Department of Conservation or Wildlife, while an overwhelming majority were satisfied with the mission statements of each. This shows that there's a lot of room for growth. There are many people who would align with the agencies. They just don't know about them yet.
YAYA individuals want to support their state's Department of Conservation or Wildlife, and a majority expect their taxes to go toward environmental issues. This is great news for you. 87% of YAYA individuals say that it's important to support their state's department, and 84% believe their tax dollars should be put toward conservation. This demographic understands the importance and necessity of state conservation areas, but they lead busy lives. For many of them, going outside has slipped far down their priority list, with over half saying they visit conservation areas less than once a month.
Now, this might surprise you, but according to our State of the YAYA research, 41% of these individuals already have part-time jobs and 30% have full-time ones. Balancing priorities has proved to take a toll on them. 77% report struggling to balance having time for themselves and working hard, and 80% report feeling burned out, according to the State of the YAYA. This is more than just a feeling they keep inside, as YAYA individuals recognize mental health as the most damaging issue facing their generation. Conservation areas have the opportunity to serve as a unique remedy to this widespread stress. However, that solution cannot be provided if they don't know that you exist. In our national survey, we identified the primary sources of awareness for those currently knowledgeable of the AFWA or their given state agency.
43% of 18 to 24-year-olds said that social media was what introduced them to their state's department. 42% said they gained awareness from the internet in general, and 34% said word of mouth was the cause. The top three options showcase two broad avenues through which people are becoming aware of the agencies: online and friends and family. While friends and family provide a more personal recommendation, the data shows that the internet and social media still reach more people more quickly. This reliance on the internet should not be surprising to anyone, as 18 to 24-year-olds are one of the first generation to live with this technology from the day they were born. They are digital natives.
According to our State of YAYA report, 64% of YAYA consumers use YouTube multiple times a day. Raw usage is not the only thing that differentiates this generation's digital behavior from others, though. Differences also lie in what young adults are consuming online. 59% of YAYA consumers report enjoying ASMR, which is autonomous sensory meridian response, or oddly satisfying content.
As we mentioned earlier, many YAYA individuals are stressed out, and that stress can at least be somewhat attributed to being overconnected online. As a result, they're taking action. 30% participate in self-care activities every day, and 72% participate in self-care activities at least once a week, according to the State of the YAYA 2020. Some common self-care activities include spending time with friends and family, exercising, playing sports, napping, playing video games, and watching TV or movies. This shows that while technology can have a negative impact on stress, it can also be stress relieving in the right setting.
As is shown by the two activities relating to technology, technology can also be a source of de-stressing. According to our recent survey we conducted of 18 to 24-year-olds, 39% of our respondents have used technology geared toward relaxation. However, technology is not the only way these individuals are coping. 73% of our survey's 315 respondents have spent time outdoors when it comes to participating in self-care and/or mindfulness. 49% have exercised or done yoga, and 42% have unplugged from technology entirely.
To dig deeper into YAYA individuals' digital behavior, we conducted social listening and a social media audit on MDC and NDOW social accounts. This allowed us to see how the AFWA agencies were performing and engaging with their current audience, as well as the YAYA demographic.
This social listening was conducted using a social media listening and sentiment analysis tool called CX Social. With this platform, we were able to look deeper at customer engagement, analytics, and other metrics. Lastly, we looked deeper into social channels by conducting manual reviews on YouTube and Instagram for both MDC and NDOW.
We researched which social channels YAYA individuals live on. According to this year's State of the YAYA report, The most frequently used social media platforms among 18 to 24-year-olds are Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. YAYA individuals are most likely to interact with brands on these platforms as well.
We evaluated the agency's social performance on CX Social and used MDC's analytics reports to identify strengths and weaknesses for each platform relative to the YAYA demographic. To accomplish this, we measured the number of followers per platform and post frequency across the agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts.
MDC's social accounts have a high rate of following compared to other AFWA agencies. Facebook has the largest amount of followers for both agencies.
Even though MDC has a strong following, most of your engagement comes from non-followers. This provides an opportunity to boost engagement by focusing on your current followers as well as potential followers of the brand. NDOW is posting less frequently, but still has a lot of engagement. In March, NDOW engagement saw growth from posts dedicated to Wildlife Wednesday, which their audience seemed to enjoy.
In order to gain a better understanding of the agency's social performances, we looked into each agency's most popular posts on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. By doing this, we were able to see what kind of content performs well on each platform.
On YouTube, videos showing animals or scenic views that also feature informative captions perform best on the agency's pages. These kinds of videos can range from anything between how-tos and equipment hauls to nature ASMR and fishing stories. It's important that the content is not only visually satisfying, but also offers something for viewers. It's also worth noting that videos with people in them enjoying nature, rather than videos strictly focused on nature alone, perform better.
On Instagram, posts from MDC that utilize video generate strong engagement rates and provide relevant information, as well as encouragement for your users to share their photos. Focusing on visuals and aesthetics is crucial for success on Instagram, and MDC, you do this well. NDOW, you do a good job of promoting user-generated content, which in turn encourages engagement with the brand. Every opportunity for user-generated content should be capitalized on. This will not only increase your posting frequency, but create a two-way conversation with the audience.
On Twitter, tweets that incorporate different sources of media perform well on the agency's pages. A lighthearted but informative message draws engagement as well. To capitalize on this, posts should consistently incorporate a URL to drive people to your websites for more information. Including URLs should be mandatory on every post. If agencies run out of characters to use on Twitter, they can put the URL in the thread or create a bit.ly link. The majority of posts on MDC and NDOW social accounts are of hunting and angling. While this resonates with our current audience, YAYA individuals report they are least likely to be interested in these activities. In fact, only 44% of YAYA individuals say they are open to or want to participate in hunting and angling.
Focusing social media posts on activities such as wildlife education, archery, and boating, in addition to hunting and angling, will be more interesting for YAYA individuals. We must focus our posts on people enjoying an activity with their friends, and the agency should highlight people-oriented activities as much as possible. Lastly, switch up the styling of the photo or camera angles.
Now let's talk about who's leading. The Arizona Game and Fish Department drives high engagement across their social media platforms. This is accomplished by creating highly visual content that consists of a mix of animals, their properties, spotlights on agency staff, inspirational naturescapes, and messaging related to fishing and hunting.
National Geographic is another example of who's leading when it comes to creating original content that will resonate with YAYA individuals. National Geographic does a great job at showcasing animals and nature in tight framed and highly detailed shots, as well as the use of aerial and time lapses. When wanting to post images of wildlife and landscapes, both agencies could benefit from using imagery similar to National Geographic's. By doing this, by still including imagery of wildlife, you will complement the images of YAYA individuals actually enjoying the outdoor activities.
In terms of what each agency can take away from this audit is that you should first showcase participation and donation opportunities related to YAYA interests, such as health and wellness activities and outdoor exercise. Next, strengthen messaging on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by creating more targeted and strategic posts to engage YAYA individuals. Third, they should differentiate the types of content on Facebook, which would strengthen your engagement across the platform. Content could include going live, ASMR, time lapses, or more.
Moving on, the fourth takeaway is to utilize YouTube more. This platform has the lowest following for each agency, but it is the most popular among 18 to 24-year-olds. State agencies need to focus on content speaking to YAYA individuals to highlight conservation efforts in a visual way. Fifth, develop a narrative by adding a storyline and personal factors to post. State agencies will keep YAYA individuals engaged because they have a human touch. And last, sixth, create content tailored to social platforms. YAYA individuals engage more naturally with the content that fits the platform. And lastly, MDC and NDOW should try to focus on the positive. When it comes to showing graphic imagery or harm of animals, try to spin it in a positive light and steer clear of posting those graphic images.
So now that we know how YAYA individuals are interacting with you all in social media, let's dive into how they are coping with the stress they're experiencing due to their overconnected lives online. We found that they are often performing stress-reducing activities in isolation, as YAYA individuals prefer to separate themselves from the stressful situation and recollect their thoughts. There is a distinction in YAYA behavior towards certain actions and when they prefer to be with others or alone.
According to our national YAYA specific survey, 61% say that their initial instinct when stressed is to walk away and give myself time to relax, while only 39% want to face the situation at that moment. More broadly, 83% say they prefer to be alone when stressed. We also investigated how nature can play a role in this point of tension. 72% said that spending time in the woods alone makes them feel calm, and only 28% said that it made them feel nervous. In addition to leveraging the outdoors as a way to relieve stress, another opportunity is that 18 to 24-year-olds view the outdoors as a place for social activity and spending time with others.
According to our national YAYA specific survey, the #1 motivations for spending time outside is to spend time with friends and family, followed closely by physical activity and then relaxation and self-care. They are relationship-oriented and they enjoy spending their free time in the company of those that they care about. When asked, our survey respondents' second most likely activity they do in their free time was going out with friends, just behind listening to music nationally. However, friends were the top priority in Nevada. Family and friends are more than just a viable partner to spend time with, though. They are a great influence. 44% of YAYA voters say that their family and friends most influence their political beliefs.
While the strength of friends and family relationships are clearly strong, they aren't the only strong relationships YAYA individuals have. In fact, they feel a deep connection and responsibility to the world at large. From a list of 7 issues, economic recession, mass shootings, police brutality, terrorist attacks, climate change, sexual assaults and harassment, and discrimination, at least 72% of YAYA demographic said they worry about each of these issues. This great worry sparks action on behalf of these individuals. YAYA individuals are value-centric and will strongly support causes that align with these values. Broadly, they want to share their opinion and want to feel as though their voice is heard. 94% of YAYA individuals believe that voicing their opinion is an important component of being an American.
And conservation is one of those issues they consistently voice their thoughts on. 77% believe that self-sustaining activities like hunting and fishing balance out species and keep the world more sustainable. YAYA citizens believe that conservation is important for a variety of reasons. One reason is nature itself. 91% agree is important because it affects animal and wildlife survival. 87% agree it is important because it is tied to the outcome of climate change. And 82% agree it is important because it affects water quality. They are also conscious of conservation's importance due to how it affects their own lives. 91% agree it is important because being out in nature improves the overall quality of my life. 86% agree is important because it's something they personally care about. And 80% agree is important because it affects food quality.
Lastly, they also realize conservation's importance in relation to other people. 91% agree it is important because it affects future generations. 87% believe conservation is important because it is a basic responsibility for all people. And 78% believe conservation is important because their friends and family care about it. They don't want nature or its inhabitants to disappear. They want to conserve the resources left on this planet because they have a connection to them.
87% grew up spending time outdoors. 76% visited national and/or state parks with family growing up, and 68% feel nostalgic about their time spent outdoors. They feel a sense of comfort and happiness upon remembering those experiences they had when they were younger. They want to assure that not only their future endeavors are possible, but also that future generations can have the same opportunities they once did.
Now we'll be talking about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that apply to both of your agencies. In terms of strengths, you are dialed into the needs of hunters and anglers. The targeted messaging to this consumer group has been very effective. Also, the outdoor industry as a whole has power and relevancy, which makes it an economic powerhouse.
The weaknesses largely revolve around diversity and a lack of awareness. There's a lack of diversity in the current target audience and a general lack of knowledge among the YAYA demographic around AFWA programming.
There are several opportunities can be capitalized to increase awareness and reach the YAYA market. To start, YAYA individuals overwhelmingly believe conservation is important. Another opportunity is turning the lack of diverse consumers that we talked about as a weakness into an opportunity. You also have childhood memories of spending outdoors on your side because YAYA individuals feel nostalgic about spending time outdoors as a child.
An additional opportunity is for nature as a stress reliever. YAYA individuals are looking for reasons to get outside, which is a great opportunity to capitalize on. To round out opportunities, YAYA consumers are looking for ways to learn more about conservation and wildlife through things like wildlife education courses.
Lastly, the threats are some potential issues that may interfere with efforts to reach a new audience and increase participation in conservation. The unhealthy watershed and climate change are threatening to change the environment and the wildlife in it. Along with that, there's the threat of unavoidable barriers like time, weather, and insects.
Technology also presents a threat to people spending time outdoors. And then there's the increasing political nature of conservation issues, like climate change, that can become polarizing. We will now invite up our account planners. They will be sharing some more insights from their qualitative research concerning YAYA individuals and how they feel about conservation.
Morning. First of all, we'd like to thank the situation analysis team for their presentation and all of their hard work throughout the entire semester. I'm Maddie Watson.
I'm Faith Power.
And I'm Mackenzie Elliott, and we're the account planners for MOJO Ad, and we're all joining you from Columbia, Missouri.
Earlier in the semester, we hosted in-depth interviews and focus groups to build off what we learned in our qualitative research, and we now like to take you through our findings.
We'll begin by mentioning the goals we established to guide all of our research. Then we'll discuss the methods we use to achieve those goals. Then we'll take you through our key takeaways, what you can expect from our target in the future, as well as highlights generated from those findings. But first, Faith will walk you through our research goals.
We were asked to gain a better understanding of 18 to 24-year-olds' perceptions of nature, the outdoors, and their state's Department of Conservation or Wildlife. To do this, we built on the foundation laid from secondary research and our quantitative survey, and we set 4 research goals we wanted to aim for. Our first goal was to understand what factors influence the lifestyle, behaviors, and attitudes of the YAYA market, especially when it comes to spending time outdoors. Next, we wanted to determine YAYA consumers' attitudes toward and potential motivations for conservation and preservation. Third, we wanted to ascertain knowledge and emotions for the Missouri Department of Conservation and Nevada Department of Wildlife, and determine how the agency's values resonate with the consumer. And finally, we look to discover what conservation and industry language will resonate most with the YAYA market.
Now we will dive into our methodology. We spoke with a total of 20 participants, 15 from Missouri and 5 from Nevada. 5 of the 20 people participated in hunting, fishing, or both. We conducted 3 in-person focus groups and 13 in-depth interviews, otherwise known as IDIs. Now, Maddie will show us how we found our participants.
We created a screener to recruit participants for our focus groups and IDIs. In the screener, we identified participants who were between the ages of 18 and 24, lived in Missouri or Nevada, and agreed with one of the following statements. I care about environmental conservation. I care about preserving species in their natural habitats. I am interested in locally sourced farm-to-table and/or field-to-fork ingredients. I enjoy exercising outdoors and/or spending time in nature. I am interested in fishing and/or hunting.
We chose to conduct IDIs because we saw it as an opportunity to go deeper with YAYA individuals about their lifestyles. Additionally, IDIs are a great way to foster trust, therefore allowing us to successfully uncover consumer perceptions of both their state conservation department and the outdoors in general. We also use these IDIs to learn about ways our target might interact with your brand and how the outdoors plays a role in their current life.
Through our focus groups, we wanted to create a comfortable group dynamic to see how YAYA consumers would build off each other's responses and create conversation. We chose to only speak to consumers from Missouri and Nevada because we plan to make specialized campaigns for your states.
Before we met with the participants, we asked them to select 5 images to describe their perfect day outdoors. We wanted to know what kind of memories they associated with the outdoors, whether that be memories with friends during a specific season or at a specific place.
We then walked through why they selected these images in the discussion. The images ranged from photos from Google or Pinterest to personal memories like catching a fish. The images revealed great meaning to the choices and motivations of YAYA consumers. We found 3 themes from these images.
Our first theme was simple beauties. We discovered that YAYA consumers have a deep admiration for the simple things in life. Through their images, we could tell that they weren't always chasing after extreme adventure, but rather finding peace in the calm sights they might see every day. Our participants shared comments like, I love sunsets. I think they're the most beautiful thing in the world. I love that they happen every day.
The next theme we found is that YAYA consumers are longing for peace. Many participants indicated that they associate easygoing moments with the perfect day. They visualize something relaxing, like sitting on the beach or taking a walk with a friend, as the perfect activity. Overall, participants loved the memories that brought them the most peace. One participant shared, "These are my favorite photos because they're from vacations. I associate it with good times and easygoing feelings."
Our third theme revealed that adventurous past experiences with family and friends bring back a lot of memories for YAYA consumers. From their first camping trip to routine family vacations to outdoor parks, many indicated that these memories embody the perfect day outdoors. One said, "When I was younger, my family and I went on a camping trip, and we haven't been since. I have all of these memories, and I want to go back really badly."
Now we'll move on to our key takeaways. After conducting our qualitative research, we gathered some key takeaways that helped us understand the ways in which YAYA individuals interact with and think about the outdoors.
Our first takeaway is the true purpose of phones. Contrary to popular belief, YAYA individuals aren't always glued to their phones. They actually value putting it away when they're outside. Instead, YAYA individuals bring their phones outdoors in order to stay safe and have memories to look back on. We heard firsthand, I definitely bring my phone, just so I'm able to call someone if something bad happens. Then I'd say GPS is also helpful in case I get lost. My camera is my third most important. Another participant said, I bring my phone with me just so I can take pictures. My mom always brings her camera with her, and it's such a hassle. I tell her, just bring your phone, it'll fit in your pocket. It's nice to have the ability to take pictures to have for my own enjoyment. I don't really post pictures that often. I just like to look back on the moment.
Our next takeaway is that hunting and fishing are not equal. We found that the YAYA demographic sees hunting and fishing in a completely different light. During our focus groups and IDIs, we had our participants do some word associations, where we said a word and they said the first few words that came to mind. When we said hunting, we received an overwhelmingly negative response. We heard our participants use words like kill, deer, and gun. However, we did hear positive words such as hobby and pastime from participants who identified as hunters and fishers themselves. But when it came to fishing, the words changed drastically. Respondents had a much more positive connotation toward fishing. We heard words like lake, fun, hobby, and relaxing. We even heard the word grandpa many times because people associate fishing so strongly with family. From this activity, we found that YAYA consumers have two very different perceptions of hunting and fishing, whether they're open about it or not.
Our next takeaway is go big or stay home. For those who aren't necessarily outdoor enthusiasts, they really underestimate what their home state has to offer. Some quotes that let us hear are, honestly, I think I heard somewhere that Missouri has better rated state parks than Colorado. Missouri is a great state, and people just don't realize it. But another Missouri resident said, it's definitely hard to do nature-based things here. I just feel like there aren't many options. Nevada expressed the same concern. I really like the views of the ocean. When I was living in Las Vegas, there's none of that. It's all dirt. Nevada is all desert, and we don't have any scenic drives.
Our next takeaway is the desire to connect outdoors. YAYA consumers love the moments that come from being outdoors, and they want to share it with the people closest in their lives, if they even go with people at all. When asked who they would spend time outside with, they said, I like to do it with a close friend who I can just walk with and we don't need to talk. I think it's better when it's shared with just one other person. Another participant said, it's hard meeting new people who don't understand how you grew up. Trying to find where you fit in and figure out who you are is a source of stress.
Our discussions also revealed that YAYA consumers just need to get outside because sometimes the indoors doesn't cut it. We found that while yes, YAYA individuals do admit to spending a lot of time indoors, sometimes they just need to get outside, to take a breath, to let go. They said things like, I get like a feeling, it's like a gross feeling. You get anxious and then you are like, I need to breathe with fresh air and natural light. And when I feel overwhelmed, being in nature helps a lot. I'm a compassionate person, which is why I'm going into counseling, but sometimes other people's emotions get overwhelming. So I'll go into nature to be with myself and my own emotions.
Our last takeaway is that for YAYA individuals, the environment is a value, but they don't know how to make it a priority. Our research confirmed that YAYA consumers care about the environment, but they don't mention it until they're specifically asked about it or until someone else brings it up. When asked what causes they were passionate about, most participants said causes ranging from cancer to healthcare access to mental health. It's important to share that focus groups saw more instances of participants mentioning nature-related causes. When consumers were able to interact with each other and hear what others had to say, many agreed that they were passionate about the environment. When prompted with, for me, protecting the environment is, participants often said, vital to the future of our Earth, or important, or a necessity. Many respondents even brought up activities that they could do to protect the Earth, such as recycling. But they didn't know what else they could be doing beyond recycling or picking up trash, and this made it hard for them to make the environment a priority. With all this in mind, we needed to figure out how MDC and NDOW could earn a place in YAYA individuals' consideration set for their next outdoor activity. First, to figure out what they might plan to do in the future, we had to get their current perceptions. As you can imagine, perceptions differ among those who spend more time interacting with their local department and those who don't.
To start, here are current perceptions of local conservation departments from people such as hunters, fishers, or previous Boy Scouts. I used to like their magazines as a kid, and my grandparents still get them. They provide some of the best lakes to fish. I was a Boy Scout, so I'm definitely familiar with their hunting and fishing laws. And I think they're doing the best they can with the money they're allotted.
Unfortunately, the tune starts to change when we talk to people who wouldn't consider themselves experts on the outdoors. When asked about their perceptions or knowledge, they said, "The most interaction I had was a field trip in elementary school. I just know their name pretty much. I don't have anything specific related to them. I was most shocked that funding comes from hunting and fishing licenses. And I like that they are doing things to help the earth."
As we heard earlier from the situation analysis team, we found that many participants supported the mission statement or actions of their local state department. Whether or not participants had a ton of knowledge on their state department, they did have a positive outlook. In their eyes, helping preserve the earth is a good thing, and it's something they admire.
A few of the things our respondents said included, "A lot is admirable. I love that they're maintaining natural features. I like that they're maintaining the environment and nature just so that our children and our children's children can also experience all that I get to experience. And I like that they really understand the importance of the outdoors and the world for not just themselves. I would like to understand why the restrictions are the way they are."
When asked about how they support local causes or how they might engage, donations were rarely discussed. People often said they would donate in the future when they had money, but not now. So how can we get their support? They said, "I would use their facilities and support and follow restrictions. I would do an outdoor class like nature photography if it wasn't too expensive. As an adult, I would want to rent a canoe or kayak and take it out myself. A farm to table class could be really cool."
When asked, most respondents said that time is the biggest barrier to connecting to the outdoors. We want to note that the fact that time is a barrier overlaps with what the situation analysis team found. Some respondents said that they could see themselves engaging with their state department by spending more time outside or participating in an event. The goal for your brand should be to find simple, attainable events that fit into their schedule. Spending time outside is not a top-of-mind activity, so they need something to spark this desire. They need a constant reminder to make the outdoors a priority. More posts on social media can help trigger these emotions.
Finally, we will explain the 3 insights we arrived at from our qualitative research. These insights serve as the basis for our campaign strategies, which we feel will go a long way in emotionally connecting to your consumers. As Maddie, Faith, and I present these, we will share the name of the insight, a potential quote from our target audience, and strategic opportunities for your brand.
Our first insight is taking in the moment. I love planning little day trips with my best friend or partner, especially to go somewhere outdoors when the weather's nice. I normally only do things like that with someone I'm close with. That way, we can talk if we want to, or we can just quietly enjoy each other's company and everything around us. I can always find comfort in the little moments like that. YAYA consumers crave being present and feeling whole, but it can be difficult for them to get there at times. This insight positions state conservation areas as the perfect place to feel alive, and will tap into YAYA consumers' desire to be fully invested in the moment. One opportunity is for MDC and NDOW to strategically market certain attractions as a way to take a deep breath and share a deep bond with others.
Our second insight is nostalgic by nature. I used to spend so much time outside when I was a kid. I played with the kids in my neighborhood all the time, and when I wasn't doing that, I was just running around in my backyard. I don't spend a ton of time outside now because I'm just so busy, but I do really miss it. I made so many memories outside when I was growing up, and I just feel like I'm missing out on that now. YAYA consumers have strong ties to their memories, and they feel especially nostalgic when thinking about the time they spent outdoors as a kid. An opportunity for each state agency is to leverage this emotion. Your biggest opportunity here is to remind YAYA consumers that they have the ability to create new outdoor memories and position your conservation areas as the perfect place to make them.
And our last insight is respect and protect. I think it's important for everyone to respect the earth so future generations can enjoy it like I have. It's hard for me to find ways to support conservation besides donating, which I don't have the money to do, but I think one way is to just make sure you're always being respectful towards the earth. I can even understand things like hunting and fishing when they're done with respect and used in the right ways, like for food or to help with overpopulation. But when people hunt certain species until they're basically extinct, I think that's really disrespectful. Your strategic advantage here is that YAYA consumers want to respect and protect the earth and its inhabitants, and MDC and NDOW can easily highlight conservation efforts in marketing messages and show what state agencies are doing to help the environment. Lastly, take advantage of the unique proposition of being a conservation department to create a conversation on what it means to support the environment.
So our 3 final insights are taking in the moment, nostalgic by nature, and respect and protect.
Our primary research allowed us to accomplish our goals to understand YAYA consumer perceptions, thoughts, and attitudes of their state conservation department and the outdoors in general. Each insight reveals a unique truth and has the potential to resonate with YAYA consumers through effective strategic communication. This will open the door for your brand to reach the target audience, change perceptions of the brand, and eventually earn a spot in their minds for future outdoor experiences. Now, each of our teams will select one insight to pursue in a campaign for your brand.
Thank you all so much for listening. At this time, we'd love to answer any questions along with the rest of the situation analysis team.